The 15th race of the Amber's Racing Series 2014 season will be at Charlotte for the Food Lion 200. AAA pole award goes to Todd Kinzen in the number 82 car for Garth Enterprises. He would lead the field down to the green with Sean Glossom to his outside. That's Jack Walter third, Grant Jacobs fourth, and Frank Harris in fifth. The top four all outside of the top 30 in owner points, so they're looking to have some good runs, hopefully gain a few spots on David Lee Bibson, who currently sits 30th, and get into the show for the next 5 or so races. Down the back straightaway, looks like Kinzen's going to be under pressure from Jack Walter, and down to the inside goes the 91 with help from Frank Harris and Nate Piper, and the 94 having a solid qualifying effort, and Walter leads the first lap. Point leader Nate Smith started in the middle of the field and trapped on that outside lane. He now has a 34-point lead over Casey Lester in the 87 car, who currently sits a couple spots in front of him on that outside lane. Lester started 18th and was also trapped on the outside lane, much like Smith, so they're going to fall back pretty early in this one, but decent qualifying efforts for those two, and that couldn't be said the same for Mac DeCario, who started in the back and was running in the back in David Lee Bibson territory, and he wasn't having a solid start to his race. Greg Sauer was, and the winner of last week's race was running in the top 10, getting passed by Nate Piper in the 94 car, but Greg Sauer backing up that great win at Bristol with a solid qualifying effort and running up front early on in this one. Here's Jonathan Ringer in the 0 car. He's all over the back bumper of the 16 for second, and he goes around Justin Pisani in turn number 1, and Jonathan Ringer, who has yet to be in victory lane this season, goes to second place. Nick Dawson, the 22, will follow, and Justin Pisani is going to fall back to 4th. JN Motorsports still has not led a lap this season. Lap number 6, Nate Piper gets turned by Jason Miller, and he slides against the wall, and looks like he collected Lipinski and Trout. And it looks like point leader Nate Smith may have been involved in this one. Let's see what happened to him. He's going to tap the wall a little bit. That'll be easily repairable. But Trout looks like she got the worst of this one, as she goes for a spin, gets damage on both the front and the back end of her car. And Jason Miller also gets a pretty big dent there on the front of his car. Miller would actually be the only one to retire. And on the restart, it'd once again be Jack Walter in the lead. And he gets a good jump on Nick Dawson in the 22 car, who somehow found his way to second. I believe Ringer pitted, and Jack Walter would be your leader. Here's Ricardo Blanco having a solid 4th place run. Blanco's really dropped off after having a solid start to his rookie season, and definitely looking to get that back, as the 08 car currently runs in 4th. He's looking under Justin Pisani for the 3rd position, and it looks like he will have the room to take it, as we see Nick Dawson now going for the lead on Jack Walter in the 91. And side by side they are, as the 08 has cleared Justin Pisani for 3rd, and Nick Dawson is underneath the 91 and clearing the Office Depot Chevy, until one lap later when Walter takes the lead right back from Dawson. And Jack Walter hasn't made as many races as he'd like to, but when he does, he has been a force to be reckoned with, as he's been up there at the front for his Porter Racing number 91, and he is running very strong once again here at Charlotte, as we see Justin Pisani taking second away from Nick Dawson in the 22 car, and we see, I believe that is Tommy Richer in the 2 car, who has struggled quite a bit the past couple of races, hasn't really made many races, and he's running in 3rd. Lap 14, it looks like we have trouble. Keith Davis hits a hard hit, and it looks like Partial, Lipinski, and Hensler are all involved in this one as well, and I don't really know what's going on right now, but I don't know what to say right here, but let's take another look at this one, as it looks like they all just got together into the outside wall, and they just, I don't know, they would go like this until turn 3, but I really don't know what that was all about. But alright, Lipinski and Hensler would continue on. Partial would come into the pits, and I believe he would retire. The 2 car is taken second away from Nick Dawson, but Nick Dawson looking right back under Richer for that position, as Jack Walter continues to lead the Food Lion 200. Nate Smith in the 83 car, kind of off the pace, as they couldn't get all the damage repaired, but the 83 car running 35th and not doing nearly as well as Casey Lester in the 87 car. You see in the picture right there. Here's Sebastian Morris in the 81 making his debut for the team, filling in for Nicholas Hyersky, and he's running very respectable in the middle of the field. But Sebastian Morris, a longtime AARS veteran, back in the AA PT as the last couple of seasons, and he's looking to make the jump back. He's running very well in the 81 car. Finally put the 81 in the show, as Casey Anderson, the other replacement for this car, could not do that. As we see the battle for the lead once again heating up, as Tommy Richer has taken the lead away from Jack Walter in the 91. Tommy Richer dominated at Boston, led the 131 laps, but could not get the job done. We'll see if Richer can pull it off here at Charlotte for his second career win. Remember, he won the one-off race at Ottawa last season in a thrilling finish, but he hasn't done anything like that since. Michael Carter, who has run, he ran strong at Alberta, but got taken out on lap 6 at Bristol. He is running in 5th, so Carter looking to finally break the bad streak he's been having this season. He's running in 5th place, and we see Mike Oppenheimer in front of him in 4th. He's also having a solid run, but Carter's had a miserable season. His first with the 39 team, as we take a look at Mike Oppenheimer. But Carter's been god-awful this season. I don't know how he's still locked in, but definitely doing well here at Charlotte. Mike Oppenheimer basically doing the same in his sophomore season with the 99 team, as we see the battle for the lead once again heating up, as we see Nick Dawson and Tommy Richer nose to tail, and Dawson looking underneath the two. So two rookies battling for the lead, with the very seasoned veteran behind them, Jack Walter, and then sophomore driver Mike Oppenheimer right behind him, as Dawson would eventually get the job done. There's Emma Trout in the 3 car, very slow, and they're going to put her a lap down. Jack Walter is going to follow the 2 car, and in turn number 1 they clear the 3 car. But Tommy Richer not very happy at all with Emma Trout, as Richer would fall back to 4th, it looks like, as Mike Oppenheimer is going to look underneath the Best Buy Ford. And through 3 and 4, Michael Carter might sneak into 4th as well, because the 2 car trapped on that outside line, and we know so far in this race the outside line has been brutal, but I guess Carter's going to decide to run the outside line and not get around the 2 car, but that's interesting. But 2 car falls back to 4th. Carter does not pass the Best Buy Ford Fusion, because 2 laps later, Tommy Richer underneath the 99 once again. Richer's car is very strong, but that lap car of Emma Trout really kind of screwed him over there, but the 39 car will follow this time, and the 2 car going back to the front. Alan Reeds in the 19 is running in 6th. Well, make it 5th now, as he's underneath the 99 and past him. And Alan Reeds, very strong on road courses this season. Both races he's won have come on road courses at LA and at Willow Point. Reed's trying to silence the critics of just being a road course driver and win at Charlotte. He's running in 5th. Preston Bell, his first race made since Los Angeles. He's only made 4 races this season in that JN number 36 car, and the Allstate Dodge running in 20th, so a very respectable run for Preston Bell, as he's going to be out of that ride next season looking for an ARS job or AAPT. But free agent next year, definitely making a bad impression thus far, but this race, maybe it's a sign of things to come for the rookie Preston Bell. Barry Juveno had to go to the back of the field for this one after late post-race shenanigans with Ross Lowry. Lowry did not make this race, so Barry Juveno had no one to wreck, but the 52 car is making his way through the field early on, and definitely having a strong race going through the field like that, as Michael Carter has been passed by Alan Reeds, as has Tommy Richer, actually. Richer going back underneath the 19 car right here. And this is the battle for 3rd place, as Reeds and Richer both looking very strong. All the guys in the top 5 looking like they could win this one, and this long green flag run really showing some great passing, and it's very interesting to see what will happen the rest of this one. Jonathan Ringer snuck back into 6th position after pitting last caution, and the 2 car is underneath the 22 for the lead. Once again, these 2 rookies been very good this season, and Nick Dawson especially, but he is now running in 3rd place, as we see Carter and Walter underneath him, so he's going to fall back to 4th, maybe 5th. And there we see Jonathan Ringer in the 0 car is back up into the picture, worked his way up to 6th, and he's following Alan Reeds in the 19. Here's a quick rundown of the running order. Going too fast for me to tell, but they're mostly single file, as this long green flag run hasn't really made them spread out really at all. Obviously the slower cars in the back, but here's the battle for second, as Jonathan Ringer is all over the back bumper of Michael Carter, and he's underneath the 39 Amp Energy Dodge. And there's Nate Piper in the 94, who's going to hold up the 39 just slightly, and this is going to allow the Chase Dodge of Jonathan Ringer to slide into the lead. Ringer hasn't won in quite a while, and looking to do so with Op Inc. Lap 58, our leader Tommy Richer is in the pits for green flag pit stops. 2 car backs it down into the pits, and this will give the lead to Jonathan Ringer in the 0. We see Mac DeCario and Alex Jates in the pits as well on the opening lap of green flag stops. Ringer in the lead in the 0 car, understanding he has a bit of a different strategy going on. He pitted earlier in the race, so we'll see how that plays out for him. Carson Crampton would come in the next lap in his 84 car. 16 and Justin Bizzani right behind him. Nick Dawson comes in the 3rd lap in car number 22, and he backs it down into the pits. As we see a couple of leaders still staying out, there's Alan Reeds in the 19 coming in as well, and Barry Juveno, who's worked his way back up into the top 10 for starting in the final position. 4th lap of green flag stops, it's Carter and Walter coming in, and there we see they have a bit of company in the pits now as pit lane's very filled up. Jonathan Ringer, however, still staying out in the 0 car. Obviously a different strategy, but this may not work out for him. He is losing a lot of time by not coming into the pits. A couple laps later he would, so he's about 5 laps off schedule from everyone else, and the 0 car comes into the pits. There's Todd Kinsen in the 82 following as well, so they have the same strategy into the pits. They're the only 2 in there now, as Tommy Richer, there he goes by the 0 car to take the lead. In the 2 car, Richer would have a 3-second lead over everyone else. He's all by himself right now. You can't even see anyone in the picture. And Tommy Richer having a very strong race, as he did at Boston. Hopefully he can get the job done for his sake. Alan Reeds is second, again 3.8 seconds behind Tommy Richer. Eventually they would catch up, as we see the battle for second is now on between him and Nick Dawson and the 91 of Jack Walter, and they go by the 22. There's Mac DeCario. What a great run he's having in 4th position, 3rd place in points, and he's been very quiet all race, as he has all season, to be fair to him, and he's running 3rd place, just out of nowhere, popped up in the 3rd position in that Ally Buick Regal now, as they finally changed the Buick chassis on that car, and the Ally Buick running very well, as he's getting passed for 3rd by Sebastian Morris in the 81 car, and looks like Nick Dawson may follow through. Cody Lochner's in this main group. He is not part of it. He is 1 lap down in the 34-711 Ford, if you see him up there, he is not part of the lead battle. Nate Smith has actually passed Casey Lesser and a couple more cars. Smith's car was repaired and has come to life in the middle stages of this race, as Lester really struggling the past couple of races. He struggled a lot at Bristol, and he's struggling once again here at Charlotte. Lap 80, the 91 of Jack Walter to the lead, taking Sebastian Morris with him, and it looks like the 81 car is actually going to look underneath the 91 for the lead here on the back straightaway. On lap 80, Nick Dawson looking underneath as well, so it's going to be Sebastian Morris and Nick Dawson 1-2. Jack Walter's been up there all race, and I don't think any pass rate here is going to worry him at all. The veteran knows what he's doing. He's won a race this season as well. 81 and 22 are both 1-2, and then we have Jonathan Ringer, who came out of the pits in 12th. He is running in 3rd, so Ringer has worked his way all the way back from that strategy he had that did not play out, and he is running 2nd now. Teammate Mike Oppenheimer right behind him in 3rd, Jack Walter 4th, as they got around Nick Dawson in the 22 car, and the 0 trying to run down the 81 of Sebastian Morse, and Op Inc. having another solid run. Let's hope for them they can finish the deal off this time. We've said that so many times this season. Op Inc.'s having a good run, and they're not there at the end. So Jonathan Ringer looking for the lead underneath Sebastian Morris, and hopefully for his sake and Oppenheimer's sake they can finish this off, because it's been a while since we've seen those two in the top 10, and they've been there in the middle stages of the race, like I said, but they have not been there at the end. So we'll see about today or tonight as the 81 car back underneath the 0. And there's the one of Alex Yates in there. He is not having a good race, and he's still up in the top 10 in points, but the one car struggling mightily here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Mike Oppenheimer may be looking for the lead, looking for his first win since Talladega of last season, which was his rookie season. Oppenheimer has not been nearly as good this season, but he's still running very respectable in the 99 car. Lap 104, the 0 car back underneath the 81 of Sebastian Morris. Mike Oppenheimer following through. So Opinks dodges good past the 81, the Garth Enterprise Chevrolet of Sebastian Morris. Lap 107, Morris and Walter are in the pits. A couple other cars have already been there, but they were running in the back of the field. Mike Oppenheimer comes in on lap 108 in the 99 car. He leads a couple guys in. That's Michael Carter in the 39 car back there behind Cody Lochner, who was a lap down. Again, Ringer stays out for some extra time, but this time not nearly as long. Learned his lesson, comes into the pits on lap 109, and the 0 car backs it down into the pits. Nick Dawson actually stayed out the longest of the leaders. As you see, Mac DeCario's in there as well. There's Will Legge in the 15, who has been very anonymous this race. The 22 car, like we mentioned, staying out, and this may hurt him. As you see, none of the other leaders are anywhere near him. He would eventually come in on lap 111 and take Alex Yates, the lap car, with him. And as you see, there is no leaders around him, so this is going to hurt him. And the 22 car, his good run may come to an end here, as Sebastian Morris would be the leader after pit stops. And he would lead till the caution flag comes out on lap 120 for debris. So the longest green flag run of the season comes out, or is ended by a caution that comes out on lap 120. And on the restart, Morris would obviously be leading. A lot of guys one lap down, but into turn number 1 doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a problem, as Hensler, as Hensler giving Mike Oppenheimer a little bit of a hard time there. And there's Jonathan Ringer using Hensler in the 10 car to take the 3rd position away from Jack Walter. Mike Oppenheimer eventually taking the lead away from Sebastian Morris, and 0 car following suit. Jonathan Ringer underneath Morris now. 2 veterans in this series. Morris obviously has not been in this series for quite a while, but could get it soon. We saw a little clip of Casey Lester there. Tire failure on the 87, chopped up the right front tire, and the 87 would retire in 39th place. Nate Smith, what looked like would be an awful point today, actually is going to benefit quite a bit from this. Casey Lester done for the race. Couldn't get a bigger clip of that, unfortunately, but the 87 car, tire goes down on that car, chops up the right front, and Casey Lester retires for the first time since Livonia, which was the first race of the season. So Casey Lester done for the Charlotte race. Again, the first time since, I believe it was Willa Point, actually, as we see 10 to go. Jonathan Ringer takes the lead away from his teammate, but first time since Willa Point he's retired, and before that Livonia, so that's his 3rd DNF of the season. This is probably going to give Nathan Smith a giant point lead that he won't be able to lose. As we see Mario Lancer, what a surprise this has been. He's running in 5th position, and he gets around Jack Walter in the 91. Jimmy Cohen, Jack Walter's teammate, has actually snuck up to 3rd in the 92 off his Depot Chevy, and he's now contending for the win. As we see here, he is getting around Nick Dawson in the 22, and this battle won't last long as Dawson gets past, and he is stuck on the outside lane, and there's Alex Yates in the 1 car screwing everything up for him. Here's Jimmy Cohen to the lead with 5 to go, and he takes Alex Yates with him. Jonathan Ringer now separated by Alex Yates, and down into turn number 3 they go. Ringer obviously very frustrated with Yates for not getting out of the way, but you can't really blame Yates. His car is just as fast as these guys. Don't know what was going on with the car earlier, but he really has no reason to get out of the way. Eventually, the 0 car would get by the Buffalo Wild Wings Ford of Yates, and begins his hunt on Jimmy Cohen. As we take a look at the battle for 3rd between Dawson and Oppenheimer, there's Walter in 5th, Lancer in 6th, as Dawson is underneath the SDP Dodge. of Mike Oppenheimer for the third position. This may move Oppenheimer way back in the pack, as that inside line is just charging right now. Here comes Ringer down the back straightaway with 2 laps to go. The chase back dodge to the inside of Jimmy Cohen, and he's going to take Dawson with him. So Cohen's going to fall back to third. Coming to the white flag, Jonathan Ringer is your leader. Nick Dawson begins his pursuit on him, and it looks like the battle for second taking longer than Dawson anticipated. This may screw up his run to get to Ringer. Off turn number 2, looks like Walter is going to sneak into third. Down the back straightaway, does Dawson have enough? Down into turn number 3, doesn't look like he gets underneath them at all. But coming off turn number 4, here he comes. Off turn number 4, who's it going to be? It's going to be Ringer. Dawson does not have nearly enough. Jonathan Ringer wins the Food Lion 200 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. What a great finish. Dawson if he just had one more lap, easily would have been his race. Jonathan Ringer returning to victory lane, first time with Op Inc. He wins the Food Lion 200, and some post-race shenanigans here as the 89 just runs into the back of the 10 car, and Piper gets involved as well. There's Preston Bell getting a piece of it, but that was interesting. And I don't really know what happened, so that was post-race, doesn't really matter too much. Jonathan Ringer is your winner here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, as we see everyone just stacking up. Alright, now we're on to the points. Jonathan Ringer wins the Food Lion 200. Nick Dawson, solid finish in second place. Ever so close, one more lap, he could have got the win. Jack Walter and Jimmy Cohen, the 2 Porter Racing teammates, finished third and fourth. Solid runs from them. Walter was up in the top 3 all race. Cohen snuck up there at the end. Great finish from him. Justin Pisani finishes 5th in that number 16 car. He was really not noticeable as usual, but he finished 5th. Lancer, great run from him, 6th. Oppenheimer fell to 7th. Nate Smith rebounded from hitting the wall early, got that damage repaired. He finishes in 8th. That'll help his points lead. Will Legge 9th, and Alan Reeds rounds out the top 10 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway Food Lion 200. Point standings now look like this. Nate Smith has a 130-point lead over Casey Lester, and that's not good for this points battle. 130-point lead is now the difference between first and second. Mac DeCario third in with the 175 points behind Nate Smith. Carson Crompton 300 points behind. Pisani 5th. Cilantro 6th. Reed 7th. Jates 8th. Ricardo Blanco 9th. And Greg Sauer stays in the top 10. Next week we go to the Pensacola Speed Park, and that is not 100% confirmed, but for the Verizon 200 will be on a road course.